Hey, Broken World Entertainment, and what was breaking news yesterday was that Amazon MGM have finally got full control of James Bond. Now, this is potentially devastating news to the franchise. Not that it was in particularly a great space after No Time to Die, but this just cements James Bond's fate, as it's going to be nothing but mined for content. And that is going to be a massive issue. It's going to dilute the character and the franchise. And it's under the control of the very woman who said Conan the Barbarian couldn't happen at Amazon because it was too masculine. Yeah. We're going to have a look at this article now. It's a big article over there on that Park Place, so you can go and have a look at it yourself if you want. But we're going to look at the majority of it because they pretty much just show you what we can expect and just how mind-bending this is. Now, it's funny that all the media outlets are trying to paint this as like, wow, this is great for the franchise, because all they're seeing is, oh, Amazon's got money, they will invest in it. They don't realize what the damage to this brand could now be under Amazon. So let's dive into this. So, in a move that has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, Amazon MGM Studios has officially taken creative control over the iconic James Bond franchise. For decades, the world's most famous spy was carefully shepherded by longtime producers Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson. Now, that era has come to an end, and the franchise falls into the hands of Amazon, the same company that notoriously mishandled The Lord of the Rings with its controversial Rings of Power series. The new joint venture gives Amazon MGM Studios the power to decide James Bond's future, though Broccoli and Wilson will retain co-ownership of the intellectual property, which, if people are going, what's that mean? They get to keep the books and stuff. So yet, this shift marks a significant change. For the first time in the franchise's 60-year history, its creative direction is no longer under the ironclad control of the Broccoli family. And it didn't take long for Amazon's corporate machine to kick into gear. Mere hours after the deal was announced, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos posted on Instagram asking fans, who do you pick as the next Bond? A character who has been carefully cast and curated for decades is now subject to a social media popularity contest. If this is a sign of things to come, it doesn't bode well for the future of 007. And just before we go on with this article, what's hilarious about when Bezos put that out, all he received between messages, images, and gifts were, you guessed it, Henry Cavill. But if you think Henry Cavill is going to land the role of James Bond under Amazon's watch, more specifically Jen Psaki watch, no. Unfortunately, people, we now know it's never happening. But this continues anyway, saying, the news of Amazon's takeover has fans and insiders alike concerned. Broccoli, who has been fiercely protective of the franchise, was already wary of Amazon following its $8.5 billion acquisition of MGM in 2022. Her apprehensions aren't unfounded. Reports have long suggested friction between Broccoli and Amazon executives, particularly after one executive openly stated during a meeting, I don't think James Bond is a hero. That comment alone reveals the kind of mindset now in charge of the beloved MI6 agent's future. Broccoli was reportedly livid over the remark, which highlighted a growing ideological divide. For her, Bond was more than just a film character. He was an icon representing a specific brand of storytelling, one steeped in tradition and cinematic excellence. But Amazon, under the leadership of Jennifer Psaki, who oversaw the Rings of Power, seems poised to inject its own corporate-driven agenda into the franchise. What makes this development even more alarming is Amazon's well-known obsession with data-driven content creation. Broccoli, who always relied on gut instinct and a deep understanding of Bond's cultural significance, is now being replaced by an algorithm-heavy approach where social media polls and focus groups could decide the franchise's next steps. The fact that Jeff Bezos is crowdsourcing casting decisions already sets a troubling precedent. Bond has never been about mass market consensus. It was about carefully selecting the right actor who could embody the suave yet rugged spirit of Ian Fleming's creation. Broccoli famously took a risk by casting Daniel Craig, an unconventional choice at the time, which paid off massively. Could an algorithm-driven Amazon make such a bold move? Highly unlikely. And of course, that continues on. Again, if you want to head over to That Park Place to read that. Now, again, Jennifer Salke, this is the woman who shot down the idea of the Conan the Barbarian series. That was getting written. They were working on it until she looked at it and went, no, we're not making that. It's too masculine. And let those guys go, who then went and did House of the Dragon, which then competed directly with Jennifer Salke's very own Rings of Power and destroyed it in the ratings. But she replaced Conan the Barbarian with the Wheel of Time, because it was all meant to be, let's move in the feminist direction. Now they have 100% control of James Bond. And where they're saying there as well that Barbara Broccoli was livid with the remark of, I don't think Bond is a hero. That wasn't the only thing she was super pissed at with that meeting, because that was the meeting where she lost her shit when she heard Jennifer Salke herself refer to James Bond as content, because that's all Amazon see this is content. It's like, now we can do spin-offs and multiple movies and TV shows and everything else. They were even floating about the idea during those meetings about the idea of having a Moneypenny spin-off TV series. It's like, who the hell wants to see a Miss Moneypenny spin-off show? But that's what we're going to end up getting now. We're going to get tons and tons of James Bond garbage. And trust me, it will be garbage, because it's going to be this diluted crap with all the modern isms thrown in there. Remember, Phoebe Waller-Bridge came in and removed your ability to say Bond girl and said it had to be James Bond of the Me Too era. And now it's under the control of a woman who thinks the likes of Conan was too masculine. Which brings us to the case of Henry Cavill. Would Henry Cavill now finally get the chance to don the tuxedo? No, not a hope. Why? Because he is that very thing that Jennifer Salke despises, masculine. But the irony of that is now she has control of James Bond. Every single person wants Cavill to play Bond. She won't go in that direction because, no, that's too masculine. And yet at the same time, under her watch, Henry Cavill will be making the Warhammer series for Amazon. Oh, it's just a mess when it comes to Amazon. And as it's starting to get pointed out by a lot of people, is James Bond about to become Amazon's Star Wars? Where, oh look, we've got this massive franchise and it's no longer on the big screen. We're just going to dump so much content off it on the small screen to try and convince you to come and purchase Amazon, to sign up for Prime Video. It's not going to work. Let's put it this way. They spent, what was it, $8.5 billion on MGM, which gave them Stargate, which gave them James Bond and a bunch of other things. And yet, the irony is, didn't bring anyone new to the service. Same way, Disney bought Marvel, and they bought Star Wars, and they bought Hulu. It still hasn't brought anyone new to the service. Now, people will argue, hang on, Disney Plus just said they got an increase of 100,000 subscribers. Yes, they lost as well 700,000 subscribers, but they gained 100,000. No, they didn't actually get 100,000 people going, my God, I want to sign up to Disney Plus. They got the Hulu and ESPN subscribers that just came along with the package that they bought. That's all that was. It wasn't people just naturally signing up to it. Same way no one has done it with Amazon when they got MGM. No one new came to MGM to go, hey, I want to watch James Bond on there. And if they think now, oh, we're just going to flood the market with James Bond content, yeah, it's not going to work. And isn't it funny as well that they've now been given full control of James Bond, right as we know that Barbara Broccoli had the big falling out with them, even to the point she said they're nothing but fucking idiots. And this lawsuit from this business developer, Austrian developer dude, has just put across this lawsuit to try and get the rights for the name of James Bond and 007. It's crazy. But anyone that thinks James Bond is now in great hands under Amazon, you better wake up quickly and start smelling the coffee. Or should I say, the martini, shaken not stirred, because it's not good news at all. We'll see what happens and how quickly they announce the new James Bond, because you know, probably by the end of next week, they'll probably announce casting for the next Bond. We'll wait and see. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.